Good afternoon. It's on Tuesday. I thought I would just check in, see how everyone is doing. I want to thank everyone who prayed and prayed and prayed. So I am well. Anytime you see me online tinkering around, having a good time, or just chopping it up, know that I'm well. Um, a lot going on right now. I just want to take time out to ask everybody to just truly pray for folks who are just going through grief and loss. There's some terrible tragedies going on. We don't know why. In some of the situations, I was talking to my daughter, they have lost about, I think my daughter was telling me last night, in her generation, they've lost three people, um, mainly females of their generation in this last 30 days. Some to violence, some to medical. Nonetheless, it's a lot. Talking to even my kids and just kind of getting insight on how they're dealing with it and their peers. I'm not so sure if in my early 20s or my teens that I experienced this level of loss. I don't know if you guys can think back to your time, but it just appears to me that a lot of grief, loss, tragedy to violence and different things, just medical as well, that the young people is taking on. And I'm not so sure if they're doing well because I did ask them, how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Knowing one day you see a friend at a gas station, next day she just at the wrong place and victim of a drive-by. And my daughter was pretty open. She said she don't really think that they're dealing with it. You know, I think they're growing more numb and just you have more young people are just using and drinking and smoking and doing what they feel that they need to do to deal with the pain at the particular time. I don't want this to be about the young people who surviving because clearly we want to keep those in prayer that is losing folks right now. It's just horrible. In fact, I just kind of unplugged and went into some deep prayer and just, I don't know, numbness when I hear about these types of things. So that's where I've been just kind of doing some reflection and unplugging and making sure I'm in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing or not doing or just, coexisting with myself. Really big on taking myself out to lunch these days, just uninterrupted. You guys that really know me know I hardly ever answer my phone, although I'm a social media contributor at times. Usually I'm just unplugged from the whole phone situation outside of that. Mainly because I have grandkids who love my phone and who loves to be on YouTube. So that's where I'm at. Just really, really big on uncomplicated living. You guys know that I'm really pushing that life experience as a lifestyle for anyone who is just really open to revisiting some of the uncomplicated things that we used to enjoy before we start stockpiling all these unrealistic expectations on us. So that's kind of the life work that I'm called to do. It's very, very liberating. I mean, random days off doing whatever you enjoy doing. Um, really not getting caught up in these job titles and your social class in the world and all the things that if we were left alone as kids that we just really didn't care about. Those are some things and some thought processes that I have readapted to, and I can tell you it's been really, really liberating. It's been really real. It's been really insightful and impactful in my life. And I just want to say, as social workers, a lot of times people feel as though, that for the most part, I would say that they can come to us and kind of just stockpile a lot of their things on our personality types. And even with that, there has to be boundaries. We can't take on, or the next person shouldn't be taking on all of your stuff. The best thing we can do is give you tools and you work those tools to the best of your ability to bring outcomes that you need. that's why tonight I am very excited, as you see me try to perk up a little bit, about having Michelle McCoy, who is a licensed marriage family therapist here in Fresno, California, and the founder, director of Live Well Behavioral Health here in Fresno. Um, she is going to be appearing with me. We have talked, just really, our whole focus is to collaborate and to start having the tough conversations and get people comfortable with identifying when they're not well. If there's always ever, opportunity for improvement, we all, I can speak for myself. I'm always trying to um, grow and try to be the best that I can be. And so I know when it comes to mental health services or just talking to a counselor or a therapist, um, sometimes culturally speaking, we just don't ask for help. Like we can take on a whole lot, but I can tell you, you think you're taking it on, but your body is like, time out. Your body is saying, hold up, I can't take on this stuff. And so what happens is we see it at, the dumping, allowing people to dump things on us or on you is not serving you well at times because people, I would say it's been my experience that the more we walk away from the cross and the word and the power that that we were created from, um, people are just not able to deal with life um, as we know it. People are just dying by the wayside. They're dying in the storm. And quite frankly, if we're not strong and our kids are experiencing the level of tragedies that they are, and they recognize that you're not strong spiritually, then they know not to come to you because they see the signs. Whether or not you intend for them to kind of assess you in that way, kids are very, very observant. They know when, if you are just dying in the fire and pretty much they don't feel that you can handle what they're going through. And sometimes they just hold on to it and they go to their peers. Like you hear people joining gangs or joining different networks in terms of what they feel is safe so they can process what it is that they're going through, or maybe not process for that matter. Um, so I'm encouraging folks to just really evaluate your spiritual life, get connected to a power source that's going to feed your spiritual woman or man, because you're not going to make it just by being motivated or going to another inspirational seminar or a new relationship or a new vehicle, a new job, all the superficial things that we as human beings, we like those perks, but we need the meat and potatoes of life. We need something that's going to sustain us, that's going to feed us, feed our spiritual inner being, so that when life happens, we certainly have emotions that we'll embark upon, but we won't necessarily die in it. And what I mean by that is just totally checking out and totally not showing up in a way that we need to be, especially for us that have little ones that are still dependent on us for guidance. If we're not careful, we die out, and kids are just out here raising themselves, although you may be providing a roof over their head and the dinner on the table. For that matter, we're not even providing dinner. We're just providing the snacks that get popped in the microwave, and you're just not fully present. And that plays a role in our kids and all that stuff. So you can see it's a trickle-down effect. So most of the topics that we bring up and we discuss is clearly for the empowerment of the family unit. Um, it's one of those, if the shoe fits, wear it and lace it up. If it's not something that you need information on, certainly there's somebody probably in your network. So we ask that you share it, because we will be having um, ongoing conversations about various things, not only just talking about it, but having some solutions so people can put in their tool belt to move forward. Because as a social worker, oftentimes we are in the offices, we're in court, we're in the prison systems, we're in the hospitals, we're in the legislature pushing policies. But the one thing that I can say that we can improve in is being in the community, and just in a way that in a community in a way where we're not already involved in your life. So proactively being in the community, having discussions about some of the things that we see and how we can have those conversations up front in an effort to build a working relationship, so perhaps we don't have to intervene in some of the different ways that we have to. So that's the whole goal of making myself available in the work that I'm doing, is just to be able to have some conversations and have some solutions on the table that you can pick up, if you choose to. And then just being realistic about what that will look like if folks don't pull it together in certain things. Some things are just flat out deal breakers. We cannot compromise the safety of children and elders and different things that we're dealing with. But certainly there are some tools that we can give you if you recognize some behaviors within yourself. You more than anyone, more than any specialist, more than any therapist, any doctor. For the most part, some of the demons that you're dealing with when you're all alone, when you're relaxing, chilling by yourself. You kind of know some of the things that you're doing. You know that if you are frustrated, it comes out in your parenting, yelling at your kids all the time, yelling at your spouse or your partner, just operating out of utter chaos because you're warring on the inside and you don't know what to do with that energy. And unfortunately, sometimes we cohabitate with friends and our peers, and they don't challenge you in that area to let you know, hey, you need to pull it together. And so what happened is you adapt this way of living as a norm, and then you expect the world to adapt to the way that you're operating. And then you come into a huge shock when you encounter someone that challenges you on the way that you're operating. And then that's when arguments break out and all of that, because nobody want to be challenged in the way they're used to being. So for that reason, some of you guys have talked to Tasha and said, hey, these are some situations that are showing up. And some of the themes that came out is just simply put, we don't have healthy boundaries. And we're going to explore what boundaries are, how to set them up, what's the consequence. I mean, we see the no trespassing sign as a visual sign. If you park somewhere and it says no trespassing, the consequence will be most likely your car will be towed, which will be you have all these different fees that you have to pay and all these different strings of consequences. Well, with boundaries, we know that the lines are very invisible and they change over time and they're situational to people. So it's not always easy. So it's an acquired skill and insight that it's difficult sometimes for people. I am a recovering people pleaser, so I know firsthand that it's very difficult sometimes to set boundaries because of some of the consequences that you feel that you don't want to have to pay for setting up boundaries that put you in a situation to be emotionally healthy. And so we're going to explore some of those fears and why we don't set boundaries and why we just allow people to just walk all in our house. And that's kind of an example of boundary. Not having boundaries is having your door totally unlocked. Any and everybody, whether you know them or not, get to walk all in. So if you listen to me, most of you guys don't even roll like that. You wouldn't let your door be wide open where any and everybody just walk all in. Well, that's what that means when you don't have boundaries set up is, people walk all over you emotionally, physically, and, it's taxing on you. You think it isn't, but it does show up in a taxing way. So we're going to talk about that a little later. I just wanted to check in and see how everyone was doing and kind of let you know, to brace yourself, ride this wave with us. It is going to be a lifestyle change. Talking to Tasha and partnering with folks like Michelle, who is a licensed therapist, who make herself available to have cultural reflective services, so everyone is included, so that we talk a language and we speak in a way that you understand. And not saying that you don't understand, but oftentimes if you've experienced, counseling to be something standoffish, we want to kind of make that service available in a way that you can connect in a way, hopefully, to start digging and figuring out how you can best show up and be a bigger and better version of yourself. So tonight at 7 p.m., we will be online live. We're declaring that we won't have technical difficulties like we did last time. But in the midst of all that, we make breakthroughs. I mean, we get through the ups and downs and rounds and round. And so we'll see you guys live. Please chime in your questions. We're here to serve, and we're going to serve in the most tallest way so that our family units are back where they need to be, and everybody is all copacetic, as we say. And so until then, I will see you guys online 7 p.m. Homie, tell a friend, tell a loved one, tell those that you care about to chime in, because we're all about working together. For those of you who are looking to thrive and actually move forward in the upcoming year, rather than surviving and struggling and living in, all kinds of agony. We are called to live and live life more abundantly, and that's just how we're going to do it. Okay, so we'll see you a little bit later. Thank you. Have a good one.